everybody. Welcome to my rock bottom experience. You guys will notice that I'm actually posting a video very close to the last video that I posted. That's because I am a master's student in it, and we're about to head into like exam season, assignment season, and I have a dissertation coming. So I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to my time and basically take the bull by its horns because it's my last year. I want to graduate next year. No longer time, nothing. I just want to finish this thing. So I'm going to post and there'll be a little bit of a gap, but this is the video for that gap, if that makes sense. So guys, today I am going to be speaking about something that I dread speaking about, but it's a very important topic because it falls part of the careers that I've been a part of. So it's you guys getting to know me. We've talked about the law. We've talked about the modeling. We've kind of talked about the community service work, which is the dream, right? And a big part of who I am and what I've achieved is pageantry. And yeah, I think this episode is very important because it'll be me basically taking back my voice, which is not easy. I had to actually even take ashwagandha. I had to take some ashwagizi so that I could actually put down the nerves and speak my truth. This is not going to be bashful. I'm hoping that it's not going to come across as negative, but I have had a few people that have looked up to me because they were introduced to me when I did like Miss South Africa or whatever. And I've always given people the politically correct answer. It all goes back to that curated brand situation that I was telling you guys about. So hopefully I'm able to make my points and hopefully you guys can understand everything that I have to say from my point of view. And yeah, I'm scared. I'm not gonna act like get tough, you know. I am quite a strong person emotionally, but this whole YouTube thing has, and it's tapped a level of vulnerability that I've never allowed myself to be. And the reason why I've been skeptical, and it's not just me, I think it's all girls. If you've been in a pageant before, you'll know that the fandom is a bit hectic. They're a bit hectic. They don't change in their ways. So because of that, we end up in a corner as the girls, right? But well, I refuse to be in that corner. It's nearly 10 years ago since I did, like 7 years ago that I did Miss SA. About like 6 months ago since my last pageant, which was a really great experience. But I think it's very important to just be open, you know, so that if there is someone at home who is considering entering, they understand that it's not everything that it seems to be, you know. And I know this from the modeling industry. When you are in the business of like the physical, even if it's not just physical, people look at the outward appearance of something and they make judgments based on that. Sorry. And it's not easy, guys. The sacrifices, the kind of work that goes into us like being in that environment is crazy. It's crazy. Like, you know, you don't just get to move anyhow, you don't just get to be anyhow. So people, because that whole thing is also a curated experience, people tend to think that it's glitz, it's glamour, it's all the photo shoots and traveling and all of that. And for us who are a part of it, it's like hard flipping work. And so I think a good point of departure, I've literally been thinking about this conversation for months, if not years, because I just did not know how I was going to come out with everything. But YouTube is the perfect platform because I post my long form content. You guys know what I'm about, you know, for now. So I can really just get into everything. I think a good point of departure is how I started to engage in pageantry. The answer is going to be very disappointing because I know that a lot of people that go into pageantry have been in pageantry or dreamt about it rather also from when they were young. So it was either they have been competing for a long time or like they've been thinking of competing for a long time, right? My story is not like that. To be honest, I used to watch Miss South Africa when I was really young, and then I stopped because it was the same old thing. Which it was literally the same old thing. And then I was literally, I kid you not, I was washing the dishes at home And then I was just thinking about my standing as a model, right? So when I started modeling, we talked about this, like the diversity intake and the diversity thing was not a thing. It was not a thing, right? And so it was quite a miracle and a big testament on of itself that I forced my way into there, and I had to consistently keep proving why I needed to be there. Why? Because if you don't already see, I am not a size -0, right? I am like built quite nicely. I like my body, you know. I am not a large person. I haven't been for a very long time. I used to be, but by the time I went into modeling, I was in varsity and I was small. It was when I was like engaging with gym and everything, right? But they didn't want that. If you are not stick thin in the modeling industry, we're back to that now after the diversity thing. You just don't have a place. They love their sample sizes. They love it like that. It hasn't changed for a very long time. So that was the environment that I was going into. I was not scared because, again, I've wanted to model ever since I was a kid. So I couldn't see why my body had to be such a hindrance to me achieving my dream. So I went for it. But even though I was in there, I was facing a lot of like body shaming, designers looking at my hips and just being like, whatever, not getting jobs because I was not small enough. I've never been in Fashion Week. My modeling portfolio is this big. I've never done it, right? Because the first time that I went there, the lady and the people around me were so rude, and I was so not protected in that environment that I was like, oh my gosh, it's not even worth the money. Like, why am I doing this, right? And I left. So I that is the context of me now washing dishes, thinking and about where I am, and thinking, how can I actually fight this? How can I actually give myself a voice? Boom, do Miss South Africa. And it was as easy as that. I was like, yeah, yeah. And I literally quickly did my research. I think it was around the time that the applications were open, and I was like, perfect. I had not seen anything. I had not seen, because guys, I was not following that whole thing, right? It was literally a 5-minute decision on my part, or however long people take to wash dishes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I quickly did the thing. It didn't get quite deep. I never sat down to tell you how, not unserious, but to tell you how quickly this thing was for me. I didn't even tell my parents. It was one of those things where I was like, okay, let me quickly just go in. It then became a lot more serious and intentional on my part when I made, I think it was top 35. Sorry, guys. Like, I have the memory of a goldfish. So some memories are going to be hazy, which is when I told my mom and my stepdad and everyone I lived, my little sister, the people I lived in the house with. Again, not too serious on my part, because if it was really serious, I would have spoken to my biological dad and everything. But I was just like, I'm not even going to make it far. I'm just trying something. Yeah, like I'm just trying it. And then eventually we are taken, they ask us to come interview. I kid you not, the day before we're coming to interview, that's when I speak to my dad. I'm like, oh, and I had to, because I was going to, if I got in, I was going to miss time at school. My dad paid for school. So I was like, okay, quick, let's have a little lunch situation. I think it was a dinner. And I was like, oh, by the way, Dad, I applied for this. It seems like I got in. Mom is driving me there tomorrow. If I get in, I'm going to stay there for the next 2 months. Easy, right? And my dad was very upset with me, because he was like, you should have told me, and we should have told your grandmother so that we can send you in prayers. When I think about that now, and everything that went down while I was there, it was very important for my grandmother, both of them, and people in my family to know and to pray for me. I didn't give them time for that. I'm just trying to paint a picture of like how easy it was for me, um, in my brain, because I wanted to talk about something that was affecting me. And if it was affecting me, I could only imagine that other people who want to be in the modeling industry are affected, you know. But I really, really wish I had done things the right way, so that my family could at least like spiritually be with me, because what I was about to do was hectic. Anyway, quickly we go in. Long story short, I make finalist top 16, because again, like I was going into that from a sincere point of view. And I think the most important thing for me to say now is, even though I am not someone who is like crazy about pageants and whoever said this and Miss whoever has changed my life, none of them have, right? I am someone who is very, very, very passionate and very respectful of the platform it gives you, because it can be not just a change for you, but for other people. So by the time I was going in, I was serious. I prepared as much as I could, like for someone who was not really sure what was going to go on and who didn't really do that much research. And I do believe that I was supposed to be there, because God doesn't place you in an environment that you're not supposed to be in. I was supposed to be there, you know? So basically, I really took it seriously, because I was like, this is my one shot to speak about diversity of bodies in media, including this pageant that I'm in. Why is it every single year we are seeing the same kind of body, the same kind of height, the same kind of people who are basically being represented on these stages, when South Africa and Africa as a whole, the world, is such a diverse place to be, right? And so I put in 1,000% in that interview process to show you guys again how unprepared I was. What was it? No bikinis, obviously, because there's a bikini round. And the only bikini I had literally would go up my ass, like up my bum. So I essentially flashed the judges. But I didn't know that like we wouldn't be able to wear a cover up. I just didn't know, you know. But I think that God wanted me to be there. God saw my heart and everything that I wanted to do when I was there and what I was trying to achieve. So I made it. And I people always ask me, would you ever allow your child to be a model or slash go into pageantry? My answer is always no. No, no, no. Only if my child is aware and super serious and super hungry to be there would I let them be in that kind of environment. But it is so hectic. And you know, in retrospect, everything that happened, after everything had happened, I was so upset. I felt like I felt overseen. I felt unworthy after everything that happened during my experience of Miss South Africa. But now I'm like, I couldn't have won. I was too young. This was prior to me going to therapy. So those feelings of needing to be validated and wanting to be appear perfect and this and that, I don't think I would have known what to do with that much power at that age. And I can say that now. Like, I think the person who was supposed to win won, and she was an incredible queen, you know. And I think because I'm a hardworking person, I wouldn't have been a bad queen, but I would rather have that much power, let's say now, because I know who I am. I have done the internal work. I am not hiding behind the guise of being this perfect, amazing, yonke insipho iyawasha person, money, ngathi wonke umuntu is going to love me and I'm just going to be everything for everyone, you know. But with that said, I think for me, pageantry is really it's a glorified, dressed up objectification of women. It still is, right? And it's not just the organizations, it's us, the people who participate in it, it's the fans as well. I always say to my friends, you know, I realize that this thing is a sport. This is a sport. But you know, when Sia Khaleesi kicks the ball, that's all we expect out of him. Please kick the ball. Please win the games. We want to scream, yeah, Sia, Sia. When the Pirates are playing, that's all we expect from them, you know. Let's say even with Victoria's Secret models, we want to see hot babes, bikinis, lingerie, that's all. But I find pageantry a little bit ish, guys. I'm trying not to pick my words. I'm trying to like just explain this as well as I can. I find it a little bit more harmful in the objectification of women, because we are seriously expected to stand there and be like, I'm going to find the cure of cancer. I am the next solution to education. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do. This is for empowerment of women. This is to make you feel we're breaking down the barriers. Into ezinjalo. And a lot of the interviewing process and what happens on stage is that, right? I saw discourse like this past 2 or 3 years where people are like, damn, these girls are making big promises. These are like parliament level promises. It's because that is what is expected of us, right? And I find that so harmful because it then quickly becomes a gimmick because nobody is critically engaging with what we're doing, right? um be the super fit person, be built, be like perfect looking, but you need to say these big things and have these solutions for these things, and you need to have like a story. And I'm not speaking out of my ass, guys. Like they say you need to think about one part of your life, which whether it's mental health, whether you were sexually assaulted, whether it's this and this, and you need to capitalize it, you need to be able to sell it. These are things I've heard. Like I'm not, these are things I've heard. And now what happens is we are taking these super serious issues that are affecting everyday people and everyday South Africans. We are putting all of this responsibility onto girls, us, because dandipa, ne? And but we have to mix it with don't drop the ball on how you look. We're talking about, oh, it doesn't matter, women of all sizes, no, 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 no. But like half of the girls that are finalists are counting their calories. It's calorie deficits. Okay, you need to talk about the importance of education or poverty, but do it within 2 minutes. We allow all women to enter, and trans women, pregnant women, large women, but those women never make the top 5, let alone win. So it's a very confusing thing to be a part of, because you're just like, which one is it? Like, which one is it? Is it inclusive? Are we here to do the real work, or are we here to be beautiful and to be hot? And so that's the environment you're finding yourself in. It's like balancing scales, impossible scales rather. And that became very evident like very quickly. I think when we went there was a whole thing to want to change pageantry and make it more inclusive. And I definitely think to a certain extent, the organization achieved what they were trying to do. But I think that the themes and the environment of pageantry is not built to be safe for women. It's not built to be empowering. So those cracks will start to show, and very, very quickly. Like, we were being told to like tone down the blackness. This is Miss South Africa, not Miss Black South Africa. To say something like that to an African person is an extremely violent thing to say. My personal experience, like, okay, now I'm here, and we talked about like the issues that I face in modeling with microaggressions, like stylists not having my sizes or me not being taken, but I'm getting on set and I'm the only person that does not have sizes. And stylists are just like, oh, okay, everybody's going to wear a dress and you'll just wear jeans. Makeup artists, and this one is something that happens even in the modeling industry, where makeup artists, they don't understand the shade of dark skin. And so now we're having to shoot and to appear beautiful and to feel confident. And you are either 5 times darker, or you look ashy. Like if you guys watched that Tyra documentary where the girl, they ended up microaggressing this black girl and saying that she looks ashy, but it was makeup artists and it was a team that was making her look like that. And we kept on having to rise above and talk about these messages of empowerment, and we're so grateful to be here. And there were just all these little things that make you, or rather reduce you, and make you feel like an object and make you feel like you're not seen. And that's why I'm saying I don't want to point blame and say this person is bad and this person is. It's the whole thing. It's the fans as well. For environments where women are supposed to be empowered, like, fans are so quick and they're okay to just discuss someone's weight, call them fat, or this person is like this and this. We saw it with Miss Universe Pakistan last year. I loved last year because last year showed a lot of the cracks within the industry, that actually this is not a very safe space for women. And unfortunately for me, that ended up being my experience, because if you were tuned in that year, you'll see that my story quickly turned from how women in the industry are being discriminated against to I'm calling myself fat. Now I'm sitting day to day in interviews being asked what my weight is by journalists. I'm on TV and the journalist or the presenter's like, well, if you're fat, what about me on live television? But I never said I'm fat. I'm saying that the industries that cater to women ought to be more diversified, ought to show diversity. I never said that. And the problem there became that even when I went to the organization and it was getting out of hand, I was getting death threats on Twitter. People were calling me all sorts of whore and slut and just crazy things. Guys, I was 23 years old. That really scared me. Even when I went to the organization and I was like, this is getting out of hand, people told me to just like, it's just going to blow over. It's fine. Just let it go. And it didn't. It got so bad that my parents had to buy people on Twitter to say, hey guys, she didn't say this. This is what she was saying. But my parents are far away. I'm not allowed to see them. I can barely communicate with them because our days are so long. And the people that I do see and I'm here interacting with day to day are saying, don't worry, let it pass. And we've seen year after year girls getting involved in controversies, being bullied, like really bullied, like really, really bullied, and their lives being in danger. And I know that no, don't say anything, it will blow over. But it never does. Because what happened then was after Miss South Africa, I had to go to therapy because I was so traumatized. I never got to really fully enjoy that experience because I was taking interviews where people were projecting onto me, where words were being put onto me, and the organization that was supposed to protect me was just saying, oh, yeah, it's going to blow over. It didn't. To this day, if someone remembers me from Miss South Africa, they'll be like, oh, that plus size girl. The context of what I was trying to fight for mattered. And at the end of the day, what I was trying to achieve, it didn't get achieved. It ended up just being another point of gossip when we could have been speaking about constructive things and we didn't get to. And this is what I'm trying to point at to people, that we need to make these spaces safe for women. Sorry, guys, I think my mom is about to like come in here. We need to make these environments safe for women. If you're saying that you're supposed to empower women and you want to create diversity and you want to make this experience all of this, I'm not saying take away the bikini things and the 2-minute rules. I mean, if that's how things are, then that's how it is. It's the nature of the sport, right? But then you need to make sure that you do things that actually are there to protect those women. You put in barriers to protect the women that are bravely putting themselves out there to be seen by the whole country and the world, you know? And that is kind of what ended up lacking for me. It was that sense of protection. It was that confusion of like, oh, we're empowering. You can, anyone can come. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't actually eat when you're there. You can't. We are empowering these women, but half of the time, some of them are crying because of how they're spoken to. For me, it was the lack of sizing, the lack of inclusivity when I was there and they knew my sizes. I mean, we put in forms, but now, okay, size 38 or whatever. I'm not sure, you know what size, and size 7, shoe, small top. Like it literally went down to the tops. I tell them that I'm an extra small top. Yeah, I have is the Burberry's, but I'm very tiny here. And they would just bring me a large top because a girl like that has hips like me belongs in a large top. How are things supposed to make me feel? I'm already being asked about my weight on TV. I'm already being asked about my weight on newspapers. I've already told you the kind of aggressions that I face in the modeling industry. I'm here saying, let's fight for girls like me. Let's be inclusive. And then the people that are supposed to be empowering me are not listening to me either. The people that we're working with are not listening to me either. So it became definitely spiritual warfare, but it was like an internal conflict of not knowing if we're here to really push the progression of women or if I'm like some sort of entertainment. And it's unfortunate because that was my experience. And a lot of the time, girls don't come out and speak about their experiences because you get there and they give you contracts that are this big. I'm a lawyer now, so I won't just sign whatever. But they'll be like, oh, you guys are like meeting the lawyer, here, contract, sign, within an hour. You have to do it within an hour. Remember, the schedule is like stacked. You don't have time to read it. You don't understand it because we go in there really young. Like a lot of us were relatively young at that time. And everything I know now about like NDAs and lawyers that come on behalf of someone, they're there to protect the organization or the institution. It's like HR. They're they'll say, oh, we're here for you, we're here to, no. Which is why a lot of the time girls are scared to then come out and be like, hey, actually, this is what happened, this was my experience, because we as husband usayine into engaka. You signed something this big, you don't even remember what it is. And you're just like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to legally get in trouble. I don't, So it's not big things, but it's like a lot of little things that just hit at you. It's the makeup, and then it's this, and then people are screaming at you, and then 1 minute you're shooting for 23 hours and they only feed you lettuce. And it's just these small things that like really take away your power. But we are supposed to stand there and be like, I'm feeling powerful. I'm grateful to be here. It's like really a psychological nightmare in a way, And I don't want to come here and say, again, I need to reiterate that the organizations, they did the best that they could, because it was a lot less inclusive. I know that for a fact before I went there. That before my year, it was a lot less inclusive. So there were things that they did. There were strides that they made towards inclusion. But again, I just feel like organizations that are dealing with women, we are already fighting for our lives as women in this life, right? If you're saying that you're there for women and whatever, you need to do everything possible to protect them. It's literally why I was it last year? I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, when I had applied for Miss South Africa again the third time, and there was like changes in leadership and stuff like that. And we, the people that had applied, heard nothing. And for months on end. That is another psychological thing, because we train, you practice, you are making sure that on your social media is good and whatever. And if you are not hearing things months on end, we're texting each other, guys, have you heard anything? Guys, have you heard it? Like, it's torturous. How can you say you care about women and not just drop an email to be like, hey, this is what's happening? We're finding out via gossip blogs and fan pages. They are getting more interaction than the people that are actually putting themselves out there to be under that scrutiny. It's literally why I withdrew, because I was just like, bro, I'm unable to live my life right now. I feel like I'm in prison. I literally feel like I'm in prison, and I can't keep not knowing what's going on, because it's like, it's putting a cloud over me. Let me rather step back and see how this whole thing goes. And then if I re-engage, I do. If I don't, I don't. So I think that's my thing. That's my gripe, guys. I really want to appeal to the fans of pageantry. Like, a lot of this stuff also happens because you guys are not critically engaging with these platforms, and it creates a whole domino effect of a lot of things. We're stuck between being these smart, revolutionary, amazing women. That's the one thing that I can say, guys. I met some of my closest sisters, some of my closest connections during that time. It was amazing. You're meeting these women, and we go online and we're just reduced to a piece of meat. But you guys expect us to stand there and speak about things that affect people, to be the voice for the voiceless, but not really. Like, you only expect it for that 2 minutes that night, and whoever wins. It's literally why people win and then they go on to be influencers. You said you're going to fix the issue of poverty. You rehearse something, you say it, you win, and you're marked as this like progressive person. You're so amazing, and then these people then don't do community service. They don't do these things because the fans don't want that. They actually want something fabulous. They want something more Victoria's Secret. Then do that. Then let us be honest and let us actually do that. Because there are things that then happen, that domino effect that I was talking about, that are so unacceptable. Like, girls will go and adopt schools, adopt orphanages, go there, take donations, take whatever, use it as a photo prop, promise, oh, I'm going to come back. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm like. I'm trying to do this, knowing that all the fans are going to expect is a photo prop, a deep caption, maybe a 5-minute speech, max. And then they never go back. Guys, I work with children. Do you know how messed up that is? Because those children expect you to come back. I'm not talking out of my ass again. I know, because there was an orphanage in Katlehong where that exact thing happened. We're using serious matters as photo props, as things to propel us forward. And because we know that our fans, actually, the only thing they really care about is if you're fat or you're not. That's the most important thing. Are you going to Miss Universe to dazzle? Is your walk whatever or not? But then you need to drag people who are experiencing real issues, gender-based violence, poverty, education that is not quality. Then we are putting those issues there, and we're dragging third-party partners into this and promising them stuff, knowing that we're not going to do that. I can never get behind that, guys. I know that by having this episode, I might be shooting myself in the foot. I might not be able to do pageantry again, but I'd rather say so. But are you quite dignified? There's no dignity in something like that. There's no integrity in something like that. But I won't come down on the girls too hard. It's literally the way that pageantry is built between organizations and fans. So when you're trying to do too much of this and that, you're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. You're trying to check too many boxes. You're going to end up doing nothing. We're not superhumans. We're people. It's why I actually walked away from pageantry and said, actually, Mna, my most important thing is to advocate. My most important thing is to use my privilege and the things that can help me have platforms to actually pull others together, community. I don't need all of this. Actually, I can just start. And I started. And I'm so proud of it because it's literally something that I want to do with my life. It's not a gimmick. It's not something that I get to just talk about for 5 minutes and then take a beautiful picture and I'm done. It's literally my life because I want for South Africa to move forward. I don't want to benefit by myself. I want a lot of us to benefit. Do you understand? And so that's why I could easily be like, actually, this is crazy. I'm going to go do my own thing. But I'm trying to paint a picture of what it's like to be the girl who is there. And most of the girls come with good intentions. But you realize that actually these intentions mean nothing. But we have to stand on the stage and say, and I'm not, guys, let me say, I'm not very eloquent. Like, when it comes to those things, I don't know how to package my answers and world peace and this and that. Like, I don't know how to do those things. I'd rather my work speaks for me as a person, for my character. And I think that is why I'm not really cut out for that space, or I've disqualified myself from that space. My friends always tell me that, no, it's what makes you perfect for that space. Because I'm like, yeah, I love the glitz and the glamour of it. Let's not lie. It's beautiful when you see Miss South Africa shining on stage, the beautiful dresses. It's beautiful. But I really would have loved for us to be a little bit more accountable. But okay, you said you're going to fix 1,500 potholes. By the end of your reign, how many of them did you fix? After she is crowned, people disengage completely. And then they start to bully. One thing about South Africans, but it's the whole world when it comes to pageantry, they really start to bully you about, oh, she didn't look nice at the Durban July, and oh, she's not getting invited to influencer things. No, guys, nifuna a leader. Do you want a leader or do you want an nifunan? Which one is it? And it's traumatizing, guys. Like, I know I don't want to speak for other people because I know we've all had different experiences, but we speak amongst ourselves. Oh, flip, here is my mom. We speak amongst ourselves, and it is so traumatizing to have to be everything for everyone at every point, you know. Does she have the keys? She does have the keys. Yes. So, yeah, there's so much I want to say here. There's really so much I want to say here, but I don't think I'll be able to fit it in one video. Like, there is literally so much. I can see the intention. I love the fact that whoever wins, their life is changed and she becomes this person who you can look up to and whatever. But I think we could do more. I don't know if it's because I expect more out of myself and therefore I expect it out of others, but I really think that more could be done to actually push and propel the things that are affecting South Africans. You can't say you're a representative of South Africa and then it ends at all the beautiful things. Then you're not the proper representation for South Africa, you know? And so after like all of that, guys, I never even, for me at the time, I really felt like I went through all of that for nothing because I never even got to walk on stage. Me and I think since my 6, we sat behind the stage and you can only imagine going through that amount of bullying and then not even getting to have a moment. And I remember after the show, there was like a party and you interact with fans and stuff. Like, I just packed my stuff, I left, I went home and I cried because it was such an exhausting process and such an exhausting thing that I was like, okay, I'm glad this happened. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity. But like, it took from me spiritually, mentally. I did not know who I was. People hated me online because I called myself. I literally didn't. And for the longest time, I carried around anger and hurt and disappointment. And I had to really work through those things. I did the therapy. I grew up as a person. and I did work through those things, and now I can be like, I couldn't have won that. Now I can be like, I actually don't think I have what it takes to be a pageant queen. I'm more of an on the ground queen. Now I can, and now I can just be me and proudly me. Now I can stand here and not stand, sit here and talk about this experience without bashing anybody, without blaming anybody, but equally be able to say, guys, we can do better. If we are advocating for women, which are already a group that is marginalized, that is facing so much in this world that is patriarchal, then we need to do more. It's okay to expect more from institutions that are women centered. And I would be doing myself a great disservice if I didn't say that I did Miss Universe South Africa last year. We were going to be considered amongst 7 girls to go to Miss Universe, and I could actually see the organization and pageantry moving forward, moving towards a more protective process. That process gave me back my dignity. It made me heal. The people that were there they really cared, man. They really, really cared about us. And at every step of the way, you could see, even when we didn't make it, they made sure they called us. They made sure that there was feedback. They made sure that it was from a loving place. We were fed. We were well rested. It was such a good environment that I was like, okay, we're actually moving towards a better. Andaz, hi, mommy. My mom's coming back from church. We're actually moving towards a better place. When it comes to pageantry, I don't know if it's because it was a different organization and the lady who leads it was a pageant queen herself, so she can actually, from experience, try to curate a better experience for the rest of us. But I really appreciated it. But even that, guys, like even after that, I was so drained. I was so drained. You know, when my friends were calling me and they were like, how was it? How was it? I was like, oh my gosh, it was really like such an awesome day. But I was so tired. And they were like, yeah, it must have felt amazing. And I remember saying to one of my friends, there's very little feeling for amazing when you're wearing a bikini and people are holding a board and scoring you out of 10. Do you want to say hi? Come say hi. Don't be a ghost. But you have to say hi. Hey, that's my mom. She's coming from church. She looks nice. Yeah, like you're in the bikini, people are looking at you scoring. Hey, I don't know. I could never get used to that, guys. I'm sorry. I've done it. I've been on stages, whatever. But like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of being perceived. You know, but that's a me thing also. The fact that I don't like to be perceived like that, which is why I made myself like start this channel so that I can get used to certain things, you know. But that was such a positive experience. And if I take that experience and my first experience, I can say that we're moving towards the right direction. But I don't want people to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, you know, my life is going to change. Things are going to be so nice. I'm going to go to all of these events. Lando, guys, it's work. It's hard work. And I can tell you, the girls that are there, they are working hard. They are working with coaches. They are eating well. They are gymming well. They are prepping speeches. They are literally putting in a lot of work. You don't just get there, I'll tell you, you figure in South Africa and you just whatever, you know, whatever. Like you literally have to put in the work, which means just like every working environment, there are negatives. It's not always going to be a glamorous experience. And if you're prepared to put yourself through that, then sharp, please do so. If you're like me and you would rather just be amongst the people, be amongst the community, then that's okay too. Just start where you are. Start with whatever. You don't need the added stress of all of that to achieve your goals, you know. I think that's what I want to say. And I think pageantry, the great thing about something falling down in front of your eyes, so seeing that, okay, the competition might not be as fair as it is, and people are rude behind the scenes, and there are aggressions, is that when everything comes to light, then you can build something new. You can build something new. We're not pretending anymore. We can see it for what it is, and you can build something new. That is what I want to say. I think that there's always room for improvement. I think it is a life-changing experience, but I think every single person involved, including myself, so the organizations, the fans, the people that take part, all of us can do just a little bit more to make sure that those experiences are actually truly empowering for women. And we're not just saying it as like catchphrases, No, I don't like these things where we just say things. It's literally why I left law, because we say, oh, this is transformative. After apartheid, we're moving forward, constitution. And then when you actually experience the thing, it's not what it seems to be at all. So let us not be like that. I would have loved to go into detail, but like there's just so much. I don't even think I went through half of the things that I thought I was gonna like talk about. But I think you guys get the gist. And the gist is that my first experience wasn't that great. And I think that the organization tried everything that they could at the time, but I think that they could have done more. And I'm 100% expecting more from pageant fans, people who follow, because if we say that we want to empower women, let's empower them. And I expect a lot out of us as well. Just because the game is like that doesn't mean you need to participate like that. I think it's very important to always have integrity. It's very important to always have dignity, especially if you want to be the representative of like this beautiful country. Then yeah, like those things have to be real. They can't just be things that we say on stage and then after that it's like, okay, once I get whatever I want, then that's fine. But I think I'll continue to try and have like more conversations about this and be open, because the nice thing about like life is that all of your stories, they intersect. So I was just taking this part of my life and I was shelving it and I was not like speaking about it. But now I feel like I've already said a few things. Now I can actually speak about other things, more things, like there was a lot that woo, child, there was a lot that went down, and I think, like I said in the beginning of this episode, I'm giving myself my voice back when it comes to pageantry. I think if all of us don't want to talk about it, then there won't be any room for growth. And I would love for it to grow, because again, it is an incredible opportunity. I believe that it can be life-changing for the person that wins, but it can also be life-changing for the people that those people say they want to represent, and the lives that they want to touch, right? So it becomes a thing where it doesn't just become your win, it becomes the community's win. Because when you are Miss South Africa or Miss Universe, you literally have a platform that can change people's lives, And I can never take away from the seriousness of that. That's awesome. You don't come across those kind of opportunities like that,